Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Good evening. Woo.
2021. Can you believe it?
Can you believe it? Girl, we survived 2020. Congratulations. We did it. Jazz hands. Congratulations to everybody that made it to the finish line, right? Not
Yeah,
everybody did make it to the finish line.
unfortunately.
Take that as you wish. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's 2021 is baby New Year is here. And tonight politics is afoot and a fire,
Yes.
and the history of the country is being shaped big time right now. Hey,
Yeah.
Angie, Happy New Year to you too, sweetheart. And Dia
And
Eden is here, and she says, hi.
hello.
Might be Dia. I don't know if that's Dia or Dia. But hello.
It's a pretty name.
It's a pretty name. Yeah,
Yeah.
it
So,
is. I like
um,
it.
and
Happy New Year, Iris.
thank you. Thank you. Um, and we've got let's see, I don't know, it's like the new year started and my brain has like kicked out. I don't know what's going on. Hey, Deborah. um
Hi,
so
Deborah. Yeah,
yeah.
thinking as we shift from third to fourth to fifth dimension and evolve and become more well-rounded, heart-driven as well as wisdom-driven creatures, reasoning and thinking and knowledge go out the window. Your wisdom and your heart energy will tell you what to do, and you'll end up forfeiting knowledge. Now, in a 3D world, that makes you look a little crazy. Makes you look a little cuckoo because you're not thinking the same way.
Yeah.
So there you go. Hey, our Sky Whisperer is back.
Yeah.
A beautiful, long, fancy name. She says
and
hi.
and Dia said it was the first one, so I guess it is. You said Dia the first time, right?
I said Dia. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how she says her name. So
Oh, very cool.
yeah.
That's the energy that came to me when I saw it.
Yeah. I should have
Yeah.
left it to you. What
All right.
uh yeah, we got two, we got Angie and Angela. So hello, Angela. um so you just mentioned something before we get started that maybe we should clarify.
Sure.
You're talking about going to third, fourth, and fifth dimension. Woo.
Oh, thank you. Sometimes I forget that other people are listening to our conversation. Little backstory: Iris and I start talking at about 8:30, and then at 9:30 we turn on the camera and turn on the internet, and that's when you guys come in. And so we go down a lot of rabbit holes.
We're chasing bunnies all the time.
Absolutely. And Dia tells us that her name means light. Absolutely. That's beautiful.
Yes.
I thought it did. It has that vibe. Humans, third dimension, fourth dimension, and fifth dimension are states of awareness, or another way to put it, the way humans think, perceive, and later choose to act or not act, or be proactive, reactive, or whatever, that kind of acting. So day-to-day life that we know about, that workaday world, the muggles, the mainstream, whatever popular terminology for the billions of people that don't mess with this stuff. That's third dimension. That's the 3D that you might have heard mentioned. That's the day-to-day stuff. In cosmic conversations and metaphysical conversations and spiritual conversations from several cultures all around the world, not just Western culture, not just us tree-hugging hippies, but Native American and Eskimo and African and Asian and Caribbean and South American, Central American, Russian, and Scandinavian, all kinds of, all over Asia. Asia's huge. I hate to lump it into one word, but all of East Asia, Hawaii, the Pacific. Pacific Rim, all those, they all have teachings that have predicted that humans will evolve from third dimensional awareness and thinking into fourth level or fourth dimensional awareness and thinking, which means if you know your chakras, you're coming from third, which is solar, to four, which is your heart. So in fourth dimension, we reason, choose, think, and live from heart. But fourth dimension is actually just a segue. It's a doorway. It's not actually a place or point that you stay. Fourth dimension is designed to move you into fifth dimension, which you can stay in. Fifth dimension is marked with reasoning from heart and from wisdom. So fourth and fifth chakra moving into sixth chakra, which is the sixth dimension, which is a whole nother discussion. So speaking your truth, your wisdom, fifth chakra, which is in the throat, which is why I'm pointing at it. So you're using these two levels of energy. There you go. Thank you. A chakra chart, very useful. And you can see color. It's color coded to go with it, as well as music notes. Which
Yeah,
is why
I just did a blog in Jetsons for that. So
do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do tells the 7 chakras in the human body. Feel free to look into it. But right now we're moving from solar plexus into heart into throat. We're moving from a lower wisdom power into a more loving and healing energy that becomes wise, open, honest communication through thought, lifestyle, or whatever way that humans choose to ultimately communicate. And that's what I'm referring to. It's a state of mind. The earth is not going to suddenly turn pearly and rainbow and everything glow like an avatar at night, which actually would be really cool. But, well, for some people, it might actually do that if that's their truth. So you don't know. But third and fourth and fifth dimensional existence, reality, thinking, awareness is nothing like 3D, although there are some similarities. And that's what I'm referring to, in that the earth will still be the earth. Water will still be water. Buildings and bricks and wood and concrete will still be there. Your car and metal, or maybe it won't be a car, it'll be a vehicle of some sort, that'll be there. You'll still have flesh and blood if you want to. You can have a physical body like you did back in 3D, like you do right now. In the fifth dimension, you can choose not to and still exist as an energetic life form. We commonly call these things, we have lots of words for them, for entities that are already there. Humans aren't the only thing in the universe, but other entities that have already moved to that level. Yeah, we refer to those entities as like angels or spirits or guardian angels, because at the fifth dimension, your impetus, your drive, your purpose for existing is to help and serve people that are not woken up yet. Help them gently and healthy wake up to their higher, healthier, more abundant selves. So yeah, people in the fifth dimension come back to 3 and help us out all the time. That's very normal. And yes, the correct word is people. Sometimes you can call them beings, but yep, the generic PC word is people. You can call them people.
yes.
And yeah, they're just highly evolved. And we are too. We're in the transition stage, which is uncomfortable, which Iris mentioned for a second, and that's what I'm following up on, to wrap it back up to where we started from.
Awesome. Yeah. I thought, and it's a whole show. Yeah, it's a whole show in itself, but I wanted you to at least kind of, because our conversation.
If you guys want to hear more, yeah, it's all circular. If you guys want to hear more about this topic, say so in the comments, and Iris will put it on our to-do list eventually.
Yes.
Or we'll tie it into another topic or something. But let us know if you want to hear more about that good stuff.
Right.
It's quite fascinating. But tonight, we want to talk about what you guys want to know.
Yeah. First of all, I want to say welcome to everybody that's joined us. We're glad you're here. We appreciate the people that come back and are repeat I don't want to say offenders, repeat visitors.
Let's call them regulars.
Yes. Okay.
We
Thank you.
appreciate our regulars, your old timers, your repeaters, your repeat offenders, you
I'm
retro
getting it
types that can't get enough.
now. And then new people, we love having y'all here as well. So let us know that you're here. Put your comments, and a lot of times when we share comments, I can pop them up in the screen because some people are watching on Facebook, some people are watching on YouTube. Plus, we like to
You can't
read
always
them.
see.
Yeah, and plus we like to read them because this gets turned into a
Recording.
yes.
It becomes a recording. And Angela Noel gave us a good word, frequent flyers.
Oh, that's
There
cool.
you go. I like that. You know what
And
I thought about? I need to bring a bell to these podcasts so I can ring it when something cool happens.
yeah, yeah.
Flyers.
Um,
Yay, Noel.
I am proud to say that I have started off 2021 by getting our podcasts, the audio podcasts, up to date. They're all listed up until this show. So, yes.
Wonderful.
And if you go to my website, iriscarter.com, you can see the
Put
blogs
it
that
on the
go with
screen.
it.
Put it, and type
Yeah,
it on. Yeah, throw it up
yeah.
there. Your website you want them to know about.
Yeah, it's easy enough.
Sooner or
iriscarter.com.
later, sooner or later, we're going to get a producer person to type this stuff for us.
Yeah.
You can talk freely.
Um,
Yeah.
but if you go to that and there's a link to the Eyes of Indigo blog or podcast or whatever, you can see it in my website. Yeah. And the reason I blog is because through the server that I use for my website, they automatically connect it to, if I use a special tool in there, and it automatically connects it to iTunes and Spotify.
Ooh.
So
Ooh.
yeah, so it's really
Yeah,
cool.
save me some steps. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Good
I'll
find.
usually
Good
type
find.
something. Yeah, I'll usually type something in there, put a cool picture, and that's where the chakra picture. We
Yeah.
were talking about. What were we talking about? There was something we were talking about.
Talking about humans
No,
evolving.
no, this for my purpose on my website, and
Oh,
I don't remember how I tied it in, but I tied it into one of our podcasts and talked about it. Go figure.
and they need to
Go read it.
go look and see what it was. Yes.
Yeah, go read it. And sometimes I'll throw in extra thoughts, or I'll just kind of say how we came up with it, or once in a while I'll get a
Backstory.
really good rant going. So there's all kinds of stuff in there.
Iris is a really great writer, guys. Go
Oh,
enjoy. Go
I
enjoy.
appreciate it. I
Yeah,
appreciate it. But
absolutely.
but
Yeah.
yeah, so subscribe, like, follow. We're on Spotify, iTunes, Facebook, YouTube, and share. Yes. We're getting out there. Now we just need to pull people in, pull them in. So, tonight's show, one of the reasons I'm all glittered and glammed up, sort of, is because
Election shine.
yeah, it's Hollywood. Da, 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 Hollywood. We're going to talk about movie reveals. And what the heck are movie reveals? What are
By
they?
definition, what is that?
Yeah, and how do you know what you're being shown is a reveal and that sort of thing? And it's
Start
a
paying attention.
yeah. Well, and it's like once you recognize one, it's like, oh my God, there's another.
It
There's
starts
another.
it starts an avalanche. It
And
helps to, you know what? Let me throw this in here that'll help. Where we are condoning watching movies and TV consciously with mindfulness
yes.
instead of just zoning out, which I understand that's what movies and television are for, to kind of give us a break and we can zone out. and not, and not have to think and think and think. It's a way to, it's escapism, and we get that. But if you, every now and then, if you, we're going to mention titles, go check out something with mindfulness of what's a reveal, and you're going to see your movies in a whole new light, and you're going to want to go back and rewatch movies in this new awareness. So, Iris, please take us forward on cracking this window for people, cracking the door.
Okay. So like Margot was saying a minute ago, how people around the world are noticing the change, the shift in dimensions and stuff. There are people that are talking about it that have no association, people on one side of the earth that have no association with people on the other side of the earth. And yes, our world has become smaller with technology, but when you have so many different groups of people from all walks of life, and you're talking millions and millions of people that are talking about this stuff, it's not made up. It's not conspiracy. It's not woo-woo. Although I refer to stuff as woo-woo.
It's a part of this reality.
Yeah. and so the other thing is to recognize that there are things happening that people are talking about, and you have to discern, okay, is that just a bunch of poppycock, or is there really something to that? And
right.
and I don't want
watching helps you learn that,
right. And so when you start recognizing that there are things that are in the news, and then people are saying, but wait, there's more. That
always
there probably is more.
There's always more than one side to a story, and there's usually more than two. There's usually, if you keep going, there's also more than two sides to a story.
And I guess,
but anyway,
and I think, okay, I'm going to use our platform here. We're talking about. I saw something on Twitter and I'm just going to say what I said. I'm not going to get into politics, but what I was saying was people are choosing one of two sides: deplorables, quote unquote, or radical Democrats, quote unquote. Very few are considering the possibility of the third option and a bigger plan. Divide and conquer is the goal. Don't fall for it. And the same is true for the stuff like movie reveals or things that you see where you're seeing one thing and you're hearing one story, and then suddenly it's like somebody opens the door and goes, well, have you thought about this? And you're, oh. So this stuff is being revealed. And one of the questions that may come up and that we recognize is, why is it being revealed and who's revealing it? That's a whole lot. Yeah, we're gonna.
There's a little of that.
Yeah, and there's cosmic connections,
yes.
and it's more than you. This is assuming that you recognize that there's a higher power, that
there's higher intelligence out there. Yeah.
And it doesn't, free will comes into it because
free will plays a part of it.
Yeah.
You're talking about cosmic law. Do you want to define cosmic law and what there's more than one cosmic law. Do you want to define what this one?
We're going to kind of keep it short, but yeah, let's talk about that.
Sure.
So I'll let you take.
Do you want me to say? Do you want me to talk about it, or you want to talk? You want me to try? All right.
Yeah.
There is a cosmic law that no beings can interfere with the existence and or development of any other being, especially on another planet, without their consent. So you can't invade their planet, you can't mess with their DNA, you can't pretend to be gods floating down from the heavens and showing them electric light bolts and your UFO ship and calling it a chariot of fire and yada, yada, yada. You're not supposed to do that. FYI, people break rules all the time, but I digress. The cosmic law says you're not allowed to mess with or change another culture or being without that being's culture's consent. Reveals are a way of garnering consent via non-reaction. In other words, not reacting is the same as is consent.
If you sit
Not
back and love
declining,
the
not
movies
refusing.
and let's give them awards, then guess what? You've given consent. Oh, thank you for showing us
You
that. We
say,
love it.
that's a good movie.
Yeah.
Yes, good movie, good acting, good plot. Da-da-da. That is consent. You're telling the universe, I like that. So that's the basic premise. That's the basic cosmic law we're referring to.
Okay.
Your turn, Iris.
Okay. So, for example, um, um, there are things that are shown that reveal the future and what's to come. There are reveals in television and in movies all the time. And sometimes it's about current events. Sometimes it's about the past meeting the present. Sometimes it's what we would consider good stuff and what we would consider bad and horrifying stuff. We're I don't want to delve too much in the horrifying stuff. But yes, that is Angela
Not
asks,
right
is
now.
that why sci-fi stuff has exploded over the decades? You betcha. You betcha.
Yep.
Yep.
A lot of sci-fi was written in the 60s and 70s, was written about what is happening now for the last 20 years and what's going to happen for the next 20 years. But go ahead.
Yeah. And so one popular, famous, couple of examples, Stanley Kubrick. He did 2001, Eyes Wide Shut, The Shining, where he pushed poor Shelley Duvall over the edge, by making her do some scene like an obnoxious number of times. And she was already kind of bordering on having problems anyway. And now she lives in Texas and wanders around. Who knows? But
She was already a dipped cookie.
yeah. But Stanley Kubrick has a huge amount of reveals in his films. And after he did Eyes Wide Shut, because that was such, a lot of people are going, what the hell was that movie about? If you watch it without sinking into it, you get a lot more out of it. And when you see it and
with
realize,
awareness, watch with awareness.
yes, then you realize how much of that shit's real. A lot of it is real. And he was showing, well, there is a very popular scene from it where Tom Cruise goes into this, it's like this real secret meeting, and they do a ceremony, a ritual ceremony. Yeah. Everybody's wearing these hooded capes, and they're in like this Masonic looking building, and they sacrifice somebody, and and everybody's wearing masks, and they're doing their other people who have been on the inside and are now on the outside have said,
blowing whistles.
He nailed it. Yes, they're blowing whistles and they're going, he nailed it. That is exactly the kind of crap that goes on with
certain religions that we're not going to say so that we're not
banned.
censored. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that we're not banned from the internet.
right.
But there are specific rituals, religious belief systems that embody and embrace such rituals,
One of them would make you
unfortunately.
ill, wouldn't it? Ill.
This podcast is a reveal. We are now on the list, sister. Go, baby.
That's one way to get us seen. But with that, as soon he barely got the film done, and he died of a heart attack. He died of a heart attack, is what the news was. They killed him. His wife has come out and said he's seen this shit and it was real, and they murdered him.
Guys, it is not hard to make a human have a heart attack, just FYI. I think a lot of you know that, especially ones that are people here who are doctors and nurses or chemists or pharmaceutical, pharmacists or whatever. You already, and there's others, martial arts, you already know it's not hard to kill a human with a heart attack. Yeah. It's sad. It's not ethical. I'm just saying it's not difficult. Yeah. And Kubrick bought the farm.
Yeah, but he felt like it was important to get that information out. And
he's not alone.
Right. But he had been invited to these events and then backed away, and they didn't like that. And then when he started telling their secrets. So, and there's more in that movie. On the lighter side, like in 2001, which is another movie, people go, a lot of people do that with his movies because there's so much in them. And it's like, what the hell did I just see? But again, back out of it, watch it from a critical point of view. Not critical as in criticizing, but analytical point of view. In 2000,
analytical point of view, right?
Yeah. In 2001, we didn't have video phones then. Of course, also they had it in the Jetsons, but 2001 wasn't too far after that.
The 60s.
Yes. Yeah. Everybody knows HAL, HAL, which was an acronym for IBM.
The Voice in 2001.
Yes.
The Voice in 2001 that was talking. Yep.
Yeah. And so HAL was the prequel to Siri and Alexa. Right. And I'm surprised my Alexa didn't. Yeah. Another interesting thing that came out of 2001 that's kind of back in the news is everybody wondered, what was the monolith about? Why was this monolith thrown in the middle of these apes? And what the heck is that?
What does that represent?
Yeah. And now we've had monoliths popping up and disappearing all around the world. And it's interesting when you know where they are and they're the similarities and
what they mean.
Yeah.
Well, you also have the Washington Monument, which is a monolith.
Yes.
You have monoliths in the Vatican. You have monoliths all through Egyptian history. And I will stop. There's more, but I will stop there because I think my point's been made.
Yeah. Okay.
Monoliths are extremely important to make it, just to spell it out for us. Yeah.
And one, because you mentioned DC, and I know we're trying to focus on movies, but I got to throw this out. If you have not seen this TV series, it's on Netflix, called Designated Survivor.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. Oh my God.
I'll show you a ton.
It's phenomenal. Kiefer Sutherland is the producer and he stars in it. And the premise, the first 5 minutes.
They are telling you exactly what's happening today in DC in Designated Survivor.
Yes.
They're telling you exactly what's happened.
and
Years
how,
ago.
yeah, and how things are manipulated, and how easy it is to bribe people to and that the
Do
people
amazing
doing the
things
overall planning are 3, 4, 5, 10 steps ahead of the ones being affected.
of what you know.
Yeah, and it's
Right.
like when you see this, you're going. I mean, it's just sheer genius. It is absolute, but it's very plausible, very realistic, and it's a reveal. So
It keeps self-substantiating itself when you watch and look with this kind of awareness. It'll substantiate itself really quick. You'll see why. Can
yeah.
you, Iris? Can you throw out a few more titles that or series names that
Um.
you feel
Well,
might be? I can throw out a few, but what have you got
well, another one, movie wise, I was
so
thinking
far?
about was Independence Day. Area 51
Yeah, that's a good
and
one.
NORAD
Yeah,
and all that, and the president was on a need to know basis on stuff, and um
on a lot
how,
of stuff.
yeah, that, which is very true.
Yeah,
um that, I mean, and and there's been more coming out in the news because they have, I mean, the Navy released their tapes of pilot sightings of UFOs, and now it's widely known. Yeah, those files are public and they're out there. And the
and
the
it was covered, and the fact that it was covered up for more than 50 years is out there.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So recognizing that kind of stuff in the film. Don't buy into the fear mongering though when you watch those films, because that's what
That's
they.
an agenda that your awareness it'll come to your awareness. Some reveals are designed to scare people, and some reveals are designed to enlighten people. And you have to learn to trust your own discernment, your own intuition, come from heart, come from wisdom to decide if you're being manipulated or if you're being educated.
Hmm. And
That's
a
a
lot of,
personal decision.
and think about,
Um, Go
well, I was
ahead.
going to say, think about too that, remember we did the show, and if you haven't seen it, go back and look it up on spelling with mantras and that sort of
Yeah,
thing, and
yeah,
how there are phrases
yeah.
and things that are used in film from this movie to that movie to the next movie that you start seeing again and again, and you're going, why are they sending that message out? And a lot of times it is to
Can
scare.
I? It is to scare you. Can I give
Yes.
you one that is prevalent right now?
Yes.
You see this a lot in newscasts. They will wrap up their story with, and that is all you need to know. And that is all you need to know. You will see that and hear that over and over and over. Pay attention. That there is not a yellow flag. That there is a red flag. This that agency is trying to limit what you can learn, which touches on one of my pet peeves, which is more than a peeve, but censorship. It's a type of censorship. It's sort of a gateway statement, but it's a red flag to let you know that there's more going on than
But you
they are
don't
telling
even know
you.
it. Yeah.
But you don't need to know that. They're giving you social permission to stop asking questions. That right there is your clue. You need to be asking questions.
And remember
Yeah,
when,
that
like,
is all you need to know.
when you see movies or the news or all that, all the people involved are not evil or
Right,
have bad
right.
intentions.
No idea what they're doing.
Yeah, it's
They
they're
don't
following
know.
the studio protocol or whatever. But when you start putting together, like for the news, for example, that all of the news media in the United States is when you follow it up the ladder, is owned by 6 major corporations.
The
So,
big six. Right.
yeah. And so, who is at the top that is sending down the information?
The okay.
Right.
Who's okaying the information? Yeah.
Right.
Every syndication, every publication, every broadcast is owned ultimately parent companies, their parent companies. There's 6 corporations who are related to each other. Okay, they're not 6 independent. There are 6 related to each other corporations that control all dissemination of information.
That would make me ill too.
And this is not secret. Yeah. And this is not secret information. This is public information. You can go look it up and find it anywhere.
Yes.
This is this is a standard fact that's been around for decades. The big 6. So another show that reveals a lot.
Wait just a minute.
Yes.
Deborah commented, many episodes of Netflix Black Mirror have come true within a year or so. So much so that in conversation you will hear, oh my God, this is a Black Mirror episode. Yeah.
You know what? I have heard that comment. Thank you, Deborah, for clarifying where that was coming from. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, if you know of reveal movies titles, TV show titles, yes, please put them in the comments so that other people can see your ideas. The one I was thinking of immediately was Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say Star Trek, sometimes people immediately think of the 60s episode with William Shatner and so on. And yes, there are a ton of reveals there, such as the cell phone communicator and surgical tools, which are now handheld lasers that we use now in surgery and so on. Communicating on your wristband is another one. Multicultural, multiracial people working in one spaceship is now the ISS, the International Space Station, of circling the Earth, as you know. And there's more right now. My husband turned me on to this one. The TV show, pardon me, Discover, the Star Trek Discover. Discover is the name of the ship instead of Enterprise. It's now Discover. Every single episode is packed with reveals. They're not even subtle. Not even subtle. When you watch that one, your jaw drops open every time, and it's almost information overload. There's so much, but that show is loaded. Any of the movies put out by J.J. Abrams, they're either going to have anywhere from blatant reveals to subtle innuendos, which actually, Iris, we might want to define between that. And clarify that. Some reveals are subtle innuendos, some are quasi-subtle, and some are blatant, and some are very blatant, such as the Eyes Wide Open with the satanic rituals. That was obvious. That was a blatant reveal versus something more subtle, such as using magic markers in the 60s to pretend to do laser surgery that's commonplace now. That's more subtle. Or talking about a person or a situation and changing the names and the locations to complete the disguise, such as in the movie Suicide Squad. You know how they have outtakes after the credits roll, and you can see a little bit more of the plot for a couple of minutes. It was supposed to be a female character talking to Bruce Wayne, Batman in his ordinary Muggle self. And if you look at how that character's hair is styled, how he stands, trademark trench coat, the big wave pompadour, and so on, the Bruce Wayne and what he says and how he says it, that's not Bruce Wayne. And watch Suicide Squad's got a lot of blow them up and kill stuff, so if you're squeamish about blood, meh. But you can always fast forward to the outtake at the end and see what we're talking about. That's, yeah. So sometimes it's a vague reference to someone else. Keep in mind, Suicide Squad came out, what, 7, 8 years ago? And they're talking about a person that is famous right now
You
in
mentioned
that scene.
to me before about the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, that's a big one. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Can I get an amen, people? The sequel, The Restaurant at the End of the Universe. Oh my gosh. Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that one. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe. You'll see references to it. The answer to everything is 42. That came from that movie. There's a lot more. There's tons more. There's a ton of famous people in that movie. Sam Rockwell, the guy who played Snape, and also the
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman. I knew it was Alan something. Alan Rickman's in there. Chloe Deschanel is in there as well. Your guy who did the silent movie for one of your crews over in London. What was that? The guy who did the mime. His girlfriend became a mime.
Freeman.
Martin Freeman stars in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. You're hit with reveals in that movie. One, the whole thing is a reveal. The whole plot is. Two, lesser reveals are brought out, I'd say at a pace of about 3 to 5 minutes. There's another reveal every 3 to 5 minutes. Sometimes there's some 30 seconds apart, but generally about every 3 to 5 minutes, there's another reveal. And woo, it's fun. Definitely, watch with friends because people are going to notice different things, and you can talk about it later. Discovery. Yeah, Angela Noel corrected me. Good. Discovery. Yep. Angie Kopke said there's Doctor Who, or an alien disease only affected a certain blood type. Yes. The Doctor Who series, tons of reveals coming out of the UK. The UK is a lot. Yeah, there's a lot more intel coming out of the UK than most Americans are allowed to know about. Yeah, definitely.
And the Galactic Council.
What are some more of them, Iris?
Well, what about the Galactic Council?
Yeah, the Galactic Council, Stargate. Oh my gosh. Yeah, one of our mutual friends, Amy, goes on and on and on about how many reveals are in all of the Stargates. Not exclusive to the overall theme of the whole show, but in every single episode, and sometimes every single scripted line in some episodes are individual reveals, if you know what you're listening to. Stargate, yeah. Who do we know who created Stargate?
I'm not sure.
I wonder if it's another famous name. I haven't looked that one up yet.
Yeah.
But yes, absolutely. Thank you, Angie. Stargate is a huge reveal, nonstop, and it's extremely well done. There's a lot of eye candy in that one. It's very, very pretty.
Richard Dean Anderson is.
Cartoons have a lot of reveals.
Richard Dean Anderson was one of the executive
producers. Oh, he was? Okay, because he was also one of the main stars. Okay. He also starred in it. That makes sense. He was MacGyver too, was he not?
Okay. Yeah. Interstellar
didn't he do MacGyver? Yes. Interstellar and is another big revealer. And
Contact. That's a huge reveal.
Matthew what's the one where they came down and talked to in 6 eggs? It's awake? No. Awakenings? When they came down in giant monoliths, came down in giant monoliths and hovered in half eggs. And the lady psychologist, linguist came, and the ETs were squid-looking things that they called Abbott and Costello.
Arrival.
And there were 6 of them all around the world, and China got involved. Hello. Bing, bing. There's another reveal.
That was Arrival.
Arrival. Thank you. Contact, Jodie Foster ran that one. Yep, time travel. tons of reveals about time travel. Common misconception that time travel is easier than it seems. No, time travel is very difficult, but it is very, very possible. Watch the reveals and you'll see lots of aspects of that opinion. And what else? What are some other ideas, guys?
Another movie
Soul movie. Yeah, I've heard Soul movie.
Another movie that
Disney.
I love is called Another Earth. And it's kind of one of those sleeper movies, but I love it. And there's a girl on Earth that has she, as a teenager, she was incarcerated because she killed somebody in a drunk driving accident. And she's just gotten out and she's back home and trying to decide what to do with her life. And this big news story breaks where they are starting to get signals and realize there is a parallel Earth on the other side of the moon. And we had never seen each other. And yeah. And so and the movie is about her trying to reconcile what she did, and there's a big competition. Two people or so many people, there's a limited number of people that will earn tickets to go on a flight to that Earth, and that Earth will send some people to this Earth.
Sweepstakes.
Yeah,
there's a sweepstakes to earn tickets to go to the other new Earth, right?
Yeah, and so I don't want to reveal too much, but her reconciling the accident and what goes on with contemplating, could I have had a different life? And then recognizing we do have multiple timelines and multiple,
existences.
Yes.
Simultaneously.
Yes.
Yeah. Someday you might run into yourself as we shift from 4 to 5. Yeah, 3 to 4 to 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another view of that reality, of that awareness. That is a super cool movie. Highly recommend that one. Angela Noel says, what's the more recent movie with the shimmer wall and change in reality on the other side? Is it called Shimmer? I'm not familiar with that movie. How about you, Iris?
I am not familiar
with
that.
There's a shimmering wall and change in reality.
Is it Shimmer Lake?
But that's kind of what it can look like.
No.
Angela, let us know if it's Shimmer Lake. But it seems to be referring to something we've talked about in previous episodes, membrane theory. If anybody saw the laser light fireworks display around the Seattle Space Needle for New Year's Eve at 12 midnight, you can see. They showed DNA strands and they show the membrane with multiple dimensions. They show timelines shooting up like poles and all converging into one timeline. Go on YouTube and check out the New Year's Eve Seattle Space Needle light show, and the symbolism will blow your mind. If you're not sure what it is, write down what you see and go look it up. It's it's like, wow, they showed a lot. A lot. I'll give you the last one they show is the top. The top of the Space Needle has a round building on top that's kind of stereotypical UFO space saucer looking. They use laser lights to make it look smoky, like it's launching, like it's firing up engines to launch out into space, as if it could leave the Space Needle. And if you think about the implications of how realistic that looked, as in extremely, if you think about the implications about what other buildings could have been projected incidences that might not have actually happened. Mm-hmm. And I'll just leave that there for a future episode. Because, again, my opinion.
The movie that Angela was considering was Annihilation.
Okay.
And I also wanted to mention...
and it's alien that grows.
Yeah. And I also wanted to...
I was reading comments.
Yeah. I also wanted to mention Men in Black. Very funny series, but very much a reveal. um,
I've met people that work there. Yeah. Yeah, that happens.
tell
Yeah.
us.
ETs show up as humans all the time. Yep. And work for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is a Men in Black. They don't call themselves that, but that's actually there. And we agree to it because we think it's cool.
Uh-huh. And the
But
gadgets
yeah,
and things, and the fact that he says, "Oh, well, aliens gave us this technology so we could raise money." How do you fund this place? Velcro and this and that, and hello.
microwave ovens. Yeah. Yeah, tiny, nanotechnology. That was a reveal. So who got the money and where did it go? And what has happened since? So anyway, food for thought.
Yes.
there are, we're talking about middle of the road stuff and maybe some dicey stuff. There's positive fun reveals everywhere as well. And you can see a lot of them in children's animated movies, such as Pixar, Disney, um, and what's the other one? Like the Panda, Kung Fu Panda. The Kung Fu Panda 3 talks about chi, talks about what life is like on the other side, out in the cosmos, in the spirit world or the spirit realm. Uh, and it's all very accurate stuff based on my experiences and based on what I've been told by other people. They talk about chi, they talk about healing by intention, they talk about the power coming out of your hands. In that case, it's panda paws, but you get the association. And that's just one children's movie that shows a lot of really cool reveals about chi and healing and what humans are capable of in spirit world, and a lot of other things that also teaches about social dynamics and power plays and manipulation and how um, politics can affect a person's emotional state to the point of being a warrior or being a fighter or a peacemaker. There are other movies that show cool things. The Little Mermaid, indeed. There is popular theories that mermaids do exist, and they know about us. Sasquatch is a rollout of that. There's tons of animation. What was it? Harry and the Hendersons was a
Mm-hmm.
famous Sasquatch movie. That's right. That humanized Sasquatches. The Asian version being a Yeti. And there's more. There's really cool positive reveals about that. There's reveals about how intelligent and aware dolphins and porpoises are. Yes, they are. What are some more? Iris, I know you got some notes somewhere.
Yeah, let's see. What else
Oh,
did we? Mm-mm.
Angela Noel said Star Trek Enterprise showed the Vulcans selling Velcro in the past for money after the crash landing on Earth in the early 1900s.
Oh my gosh.
Wasn't aware of that tidbit. That would be a reveal. That's a typical reveal. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Oh, Cowboys and Aliens. Do you remember that movie? It had Harrison Ford in it.
it wasn't Harrison Ford. It was Kirk.
Yeah, there was Daniel Craig too.
What's his? Oh, maybe it
Daniel
was.
Craig.
No.
When the aliens come down because they're looking for gold as a form of fuel,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
grab humans as well.
Yeah.
All right, that's another reveal. It's again, remember, sometimes they put a scary twist on it to train your subconscious to be afraid of aliens. But like Iris said earlier, if you can recognize that manipulation and get beyond it and see what else they're telling you, Cowboys and Aliens is a good movie for that. The title sounds silly, but there's a reason why Harrison Ford, people like him, are starring in it. They
Mm-hmm.
were both in it.
Okay, because I was thinking about
Yeah.
Kirk.
Daniel Craig was James Bond as well. Yeah.
Yeah. But the guy that's married or not married to Goldie Hawn, whatever his name, I can't think. Why can't I think of his name?
He lives with her and has babies. Kurt Russell?
Yeah, wasn't he in
Kurt
Cowboys and Aliens?
Russell?
Yeah, wasn't he in that movie too? Or am I totally screwing
You
up?
know what? I don't remember. If somebody knows, put that in the comments. If you know about that, or if you want to look it up on the internet and give us an opinion, look it up on the movie cat. Just Google Cowboys and Aliens cast. If
Yeah.
I do that, I'll lose my screen. So if somebody want to look it up, see, there was a lot of famous faces in it.
Um.
Abominable, yeah, that was another one.
So
Cocoon. Cocoon is another reveal.
yeah, that's a good one. That's a real good one. Um. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like we're kind of tapping at the door on this to give you some ideas of what's happening with these with films and to make you aware of what you're actually watching when you're watching films and know that stuff is being introduced all the time. And if you think, "Oh, wow, that's really cool. Wonder if we'll ever have that." Chances are we already do. You just don't know about it
We
yet.
already do, or it's going to show up in a year or two. Yeah,
Yeah. So, and then being aware of not being manipulated to feel or react certain ways. Just
right.
having
Don't
that
hold judgment.
yeah, the
Yes.
awareness is what's so important. Um, I want to mention we will do more with it is Harrison Ford. Thank you, Angela. Um, One of the things I wanted to mention is, we'll spend another episode later talking more about some of the TV shows. I mean, I know we mentioned some tonight, and we'll go a little deeper. But before we do that, we want to have on um, Dale Stacy. Is that
Dale and Jeannie Stacy, and if Jeannie's not available, it'll be just Dale Stacy. They
yeah?
are both very active people in a lot of different arenas. So we'll take what we can get because they're both really awesome.
Yeah. And we haven't set a date on that, but he's got more information behind the reveals that and so if we're really gonna dig down a rabbit hole with him on that, but we wanted to kind of introduce the topic so that when he comes, you'll sort of know what's going on, and then we'll talk more again afterwards.
We'll go in depth after that. Right.
Yeah, but next week we have joining us is going to be Courtney Lee Hudson. And the show is, I've titled it Everything Isn't Always Rainbows and Crystals. It's but it's because there's so much more to it. Exploring the existence, purpose, abilities, and needs of indigo, rainbow, and crystal children and adults. If you've ever heard that term and wondered what it was, what it means, are you an indigo child or are and actually through talking with Courtney, I found out I was probably born indigo, but in more crystal than, and some indigos
Evolve
evolve. Yeah. And so
inside this lifetime. Yeah.
and it is fascinating to recognize where you fall on the scale and where you come from and all that stuff. Um, so
Courtney is a Courtney is a very charming and intelligent speaker and speaks from heart as well as wisdom. So this will be a lovely show. It'll be a lot of fun.
yes.
Yeah.
So she joins us next week. Oh, and let me see. Deborah says, do the makers of these projects know they are revealing? And if so, how did they get to know while the info is not available to us in the open? That's an excellent question.
All right, who can stay online for another 20 minutes?
Well, and think
There are
about
a couple answers to that.
yeah. So it generally, well, like people like Stanley Kubrick, he knew what he was doing, but
J.J. Abrams, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, they all knew what they were doing.
okay. But then there
Yeah.
are some people that are given the tidbits. You know how some people are inspired to with art or with writing a book, or they have this crazy dream and they get up and they go, "Look, I wrote this song," and yeah, it's that kind of thing. Or you don't know what information gets put in front of them, just like when we manifest something and things are put in our path to in order to help the thing manifest. The same happens with the films and stuff, where it's like somebody knows we're going to do this, we got to make a reveal, so they start kind of introducing
And
uh
formulating it over time. Yeah.
yes. So
There
there's
there
going to be
have been there have been interviews of like Gene Roddenberry and Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, and people have asked them, "Holy cow, where did you get your ideas? You wrote this when you were a teenager. You wrote this 20 years ago, and it's just now, a blockbuster movie or whatever. Where did you get your ideas from?" And they have different stories from where it came from, after a car accident, from a dream, woke up from a coma, all kinds of stuff like that, and other expressions of that. But as you can see, they all seem to all have a connection to divine intervention, divine influence, something somewhere that is beyond human consciousness is dictating information to these people who have the skill set and the access, almost like a crime scene here. Who's got the motive and the means and the murder weapon? Well, these people are writers, they're directors, they're filmmakers, marketing and so on. They have the future for that. Gee, how does this influence know that they have this future? That's where you start realizing this is a divine intervention, is one way to look at it. But those people will tell you where they got the inspiration for these ideas, and go look up those interviews, and you'll see a common thread that almost all of them felt like they were divinely inspired at some point in their life. I think it was Spielberg was in a car accident. He was hit by a car when he was 17 and woke up with the whole idea for all of Star Wars and
that would
wrote
have been
it
Lucas.
starting then.
That would have been George Lucas, wouldn't it?
Okay, then it was George Lucas. Okay, that was George Lucas then. They all run together for me. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, they will tell you. Yeah, they are aware that they are revealing stuff. They don't always know how or why. Um, there are some film producers that don't realize it till after the fact, and there are documentaries about the PTSD that they go through when they realize what their film has done to the general public. There's a famous documentary that came out in March that was quickly banned and censored, for that. It talked about the Mockingbird Project. I forgot the name of it. I have to go to another screen and figure it out. But anyway, there are documentaries about producers and directors and writers that did not realize, and what they have to say is jaw dropping and sometimes chilling too. So, Deborah, thank you for asking us that question. We could go on and on with more and more commentary, but in the interest of time, we're going to keep it there. That information is out there outside of the synopsis I just blabbered about.
And we will definitely be covering in the weeks to come. But next week, be sure to tune in for Courtney and Rainbow, Indigo, and Crystal information. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe uh, to
Please.
our iTunes, Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, or go to my website, iriscarter.com. Check out the new posts that are up and some of the behind the scenes stuff and all that good stuff. And in the meantime, we'll see you next week. Thank y'all so much.
Happy New Year, guys. We
Happy
love
New
you.
Year.
Namaste.
And I am trying to find there.
Bye
I
bye, hun.
am. Bye.